Let's go ahead and let's start breaking down these games. And of course, I want to start here with the big in-division game coming here on Friday. The Chiefs, the Chargers. Obviously, the Chargers had a pretty good year in year one of a new system. The Chiefs, on the other hand, had a lot of question marks, more specifically about depth, but they still had a pretty good season. A lot of close games, but still had a pretty good season, made it to the Super Bowl yet again, but suffered a massive, massive blowout. Got to think Patrick Mahomes still has that one on his mind. So, Marcus, let's start here with you. What are the matchups that you're looking for, and what are your overall thoughts and predictions for this game?
The overall matchups, so I kind of referenced it in, we have references all throughout every episode we've had, is the offensive line. I just talked about it. The big question mark was what we were going to do at left tackle. And we came into the offseason, signed Jalen Moore, and then draft comes around. Josh Simmons ends up falling to us at 31. We trade back and get him at 32. And the left tackle spot was something that everyone was kind of concerned about. We didn't know if he was even going to play this year. He got greenlit for training camp and dominated. And all intents and purposes, he dominated throughout preseason. And for people who don't follow the Chiefs close enough, they just kind of live in that February, the last time they saw him, the Chiefs. And, we got dominated. We got our asses kicked. Nothing, you can't say anything more about that, But as far as what we did throughout the offseason, bring in Josh Simmons, not only do you have a guy who's going to come in this year, and everyone has expectations for him that he'll be a guy right out the gate, and he is. There was no training camp competition whatsoever. Jalen Moore didn't even get left tackle reps to even compete with Josh Simmons. So right out the gate, he looked like the dude. And so I think offensive line, that's one thing I'm going to be watching for. Will he continue what he did during preseason, what he looked like in training camp, and will be able to test that against a really formidable pass rush in the Chargers? So that's one thing I'm looking at. Another thing I'm looking at is our overall passing game, right? So if that does work out on the left side, then, Mahomes has been talking about bringing back the vertical ball. And you got Hollywood Brown healthy. He was a full go at practice today. And then Xavier Worthy. You have those two dudes. You add in Tyquan Thornton to the mix. No Rashee Rice for now. But you have three guys who run 4.240s. You have three dudes who can do that. You can bring that deep ball back. I think the Chiefs are -3 right now. I think take that and run with it.
So thoughts on this one? We got to beat Patrick Mahomes, bottom line. And I'm speaking specifically for the entire division. And I'm not just saying the Chargers. I'd love the Chargers to basically come out week one and make that happen and beat the Chiefs, shock the world, like I said. But currently, Patrick Mahomes is 35-5 versus the AFC West. One of the best records inter-division that I've seen and possibly in the history of the NFL. So we got to find a way. And I'm speaking to everybody here. Raiders, Broncos, hey, let's find a way to beat these Chiefs. We got to do that to shake up this division and even have a shot at this AFC West championship. So let's make it happen. But big thing I'm going to be looking at this one, and one thing I'm very excited about is seeing Justin Herbert coming into the season healthy. Last couple of years, it's been weird little couple like rib situations, foot situations, all these weird little issues that going into the season kind of makes you feel like you have to hold back the offense, which is exactly what Greg Roman said after Justin Herbert had some foot issues last season. So he kind of held back the offense, didn't really do what he truly wanted to do. I know there's a lot more talk about RPO type situations, using Justin Herbert's legs a little bit more. I'm excited to see Justin Herbert at full capacity and healthy for week one. This team could be a scary, scary team all around. And Jim Harbaugh is 5-0 in week one games too. So maybe we got that magic. Maybe we got that magic and shock the world and beat the Chiefs. So it's going to come down to one score, guaranteed. And it's always close with the Chiefs for sure. So can't wait for it.
So you're going to take the Chiefs or the Chargers?
Chargers 17, Chiefs 16. Let's go.
For the Chiefs and Chargers, if I had to put my money on it, I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Listen, he's just, there's too many new pieces with this Chargers team that I think it's going to take some time for their offense to gel compared to the Chiefs, who, they've got a big chip on their shoulder from that beating they just took. So they probably want to come in and make a statement against the Chargers. So who knows how it'll turn out, but if it turns out how it could turn out, which is them making a statement of the Chargers, I feel really bad for you guys. They're just going to be made. You just happen to be the first game, so they're going to make an example of you. But yeah, I think it's gonna be the Chiefs. Shoot, I might even just put some money on it because every time I bet on the Chiefs, I win money. So I'll say it right here first. It's crazy, man. I started trying it out when I saw that wacky shit going on last year, and they made me money. So it works, guys.
Well, I'd say I hope it ends in a tie or something, or the game just doesn't finish. But in all seriousness, though, I do agree with James. Though it's gonna be like one of those games that's could come down to the end because it always does. And you like when it comes to these AFC West rival games, it doesn't matter what the record is or how hot a team is at the time. It's always going to be a competitive one until the end. Unfortunately, I got to go with the Chiefs on this one, just for the mere fact that the same way I just can't count out Patrick Mahomes just yet. I mean, they can lose, but if I had to put money on it, it definitely had to be the Chiefs, though. But the Chargers, I could see them winning too. But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I just go with the Chiefs.
Any score prediction?
Oh, shit. 27-21.
Fellas, let's go ahead and let's move into this next game. And Ryan, this is where I want to kick it off to you because your Denver Broncos are playing in the 4:00 slate on Sunday. They're going against the Tennessee Titans, a team that tried to go all in last offseason. Clearly didn't work because they had the first overall pick, but now this is kind of the new era. They got the guy at quarterback, the most important position in sports that they feel like can lead their team. The first overall pick in Cam Ward. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have the Denver Broncos coming out on top, and what are the mismatches and matchups that you're looking for?
Yeah, of course, I think anyone, they just look at both of the rosters, look at the personnel and everything. You're going to pick the Broncos. It's a smart decision to make. How that game turns out, who knows? But I'm going to take the Broncos. They got Sean Payton, much more experienced head coach than I think it's Brian Callahan, correct? Their head coach. Bo Nix, second year. Cam Ward, he's going to be a rookie. So, and he's going up against this defense, which I know I was saying they're overhyped, but they're going to be good. They're going to be good. How good will they be? That's yet to see, but they're going to be good. And also, just looking at their wide receivers, Pat's going to be on Calvin Ridley most of the time. Tyler Lockett, he's towards the tail end of his career. How much juice does he have left in the tank? He's a solid wide receiver. I have a lot of respect for him. But, we got plenty of guys in that secondary to keep him locked up. And besides that, they don't really have much else. I mean, Tony Pollard, he's a good back, but we've got guys to stop the run. We got Dre Greenlaw now. We have Hufanga now. We didn't have good middle linebackers last year whatsoever. That was one of the issues with stopping the run. We were a much better team stopping the run than 2 years ago. But ultimately, I think we're going to win. I think I say 24-10.
I think, well, as much as I hate to say, I easily take that to the Broncos. I think it's going to be cool to see Cam Ward go out there, but I feel like, being the number one overall pick, I know that he has a lot of expectations on his shoulder to go out there and perform, and I think he's going to have some growing pains. But that's not to say that he's going to have some flashy plays here and there that's going to be highlighted all over social media. But at the end of the day, just looking at it and looking, on paper, what everybody's expecting out of the Broncos, especially their defense, I see them giving the Titans a hard time, at least for the better half of the first half, I guess. But overall, I have to pick the Broncos just off of the team that they have and the defense that they have right now. I guess you could give them 21 to like 10.
Smart money obviously goes Denver, just straight up. But I do see this game being an ugly kind of game. I didn't know the whole weather situation, but for some reason it's giving me like Bengals Patriots vibes from last year, week 1, when everyone was like, "Oh, Bengals are going to be back this year. They got their whole team back," and it was I think they were like a 5.5 point favorite at home when they played the Patriots. The Patriots ended up stealing that game 16-10. But for some reason, this game, I don't know. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't think we're going to see, highlight plays from Cam Ward, but I think he'll be, I think he'll manage it pretty well. But I do see Broncos sneaking out with a victory, but it'll be a close game, like 20-10. So I'd probably do an alt line on Tennessee. This one, take like Tennessee plus 10.5.
There's no way. Cam Ward's going to get smoked in this game, man. I mean, you're going against probably one of the better defenses in the league. I fully expect that the Broncos are going to have a phenomenal defense. They're going to suffocate, Cam Ward. He's not going to have a good game at all. He's going to probably have a pretty bad first game showing, to be honest. But I will say the Broncos got a little bit of a layup on this one, and getting a game like this. This is just such an easy game. I think that they could just go out there and get a win real quickly. So, I mean, I think even the spread's at like 8 right now for the Broncos, which is the highest this week too. So I'm honestly thinking Cam Ward might not even get a touchdown in this game, and it might just be an absolutely ugly game for him. So I personally am going to say, hey, Broncos are going to go out there and have a good time, and they're going to look good defensively. Offensively, I'm interested to see what they're going to be like. I think that offensively, that's the one part with the Broncos that I'm trying to figure out who they are going to be as an offense. Are they going to be more running game, or are they going to end up being a lot more passing? Are they going to think they have Drew Brees still as a quarterback with Bo Nix? I'm not sure, but I think the Broncos are going to have a field day on this. So if I'm going to put a score on it, I'm going to say like 27-6 or something like that. That's probably where my head's at with this one.
Let's transition back into this final game. And Samoan, we're going to kick this one to you because you are on the road. You are traveling to New England to play the New England Patriots. You and the New England Patriots have a lot of crossover. I mean, these teams have a lot of parallels. Both teams have new coaching staffs, have a lot of different players. So go ahead, let me know about this one. What are the matchups you're looking for? What's that injury report looking like? And who are you taking?
Well, of course, I'm hella excited just for the start of the season. And I know starting over there in New England is going to be a good challenge for us because I know that there's been a lot of moving parts for both teams, right? And we finally get to see Pete Carroll's era over here in Vegas start. And I'm just really interested in seeing how the coach is going to look going into that week 1 matchup. We got a lot of new pieces offensively, and I feel like we've upgraded at mostly all the skill positions, quarterback, running back. Of course, we got great tight ends over here. Wide receivers, yeah, a bit young, but we got a lot of upside there. So I'm not really too worried about the offense. I feel like the offense is going to go out there and put some scores on the board. Now, the defense side of the ball is where I guess a lot of questions are. We already know what we're going to get out of Max Crosby, but the run defense has been something that I've seen throughout all of preseason, which kind of worries me. And knowing that the Patriots now with Josh McDaniels over there likes to run his running backs, especially that committee. And I guess if I'm looking at any of the matchups, it's definitely seeing this run defense against Trey Henderson. And Trey Henderson is a guy that I was really high going into the season with, or going into the draft, and to see him and what he's been able to do in preseason is something that, has me a little bit worried. If we're not able to stop the run, he could have a field day against us. You already know I got to go with my Raiders in this one. I'd say like 27-17.
Honestly, it's a surprising spread of 2.5. I think the Patriots are favored by 2.5 at home. Ah, man, it's a tough one. It's probably one of my stay away games for this weekend as far as betting on it. Like you said, there's a lot of crossovers in this game. I see Josh McDaniels wanting to make a statement against his old team, being fired like halfway through his stint there. I could see a little bit of McDaniels wanting to force an issue and forcing the running game between Trevion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre's best season was when Josh McDaniels was his OC a couple of years ago. Seems like an eternity. I do think I think Patriots win this game. This is one of those games where I can see it being a close one or a blowout. But I want to, for some reason, because McDaniels is on the other side and he's going to want to have a statement against the Raiders in New England, I do think Patriots take this one by like 2 scores. But again, I am high on the Raiders this year. I just think that with the situation against McDaniels, I think McDaniels is going to want to make a statement against the Raiders.
Man, I think this game's going to be just an absolute sloppy game all around because it's 2 new head coaches, 2 new cultures trying to figure out how to place in their whole philosophies in this team. So I think, going back to the Raiders defense, it's a lot of new starters over there. There's not continuity there. There's a whole new head coach there. Mike Vrabel over at the Patriots, I feel like he's one of those guys people just buy in. And I remember when he was with the Titans, every player just loved the dude. And the guy basically loved every single player. And when I watched the preseason, I felt like the Patriots just looked like they bought into the culture immediately. So the way that I view this game, it's going to I think it's going to be a lot of scoring in this one. And that sounds kind of wild to say, but I think it's just going to be trying to figure their team out, try to figure out how to run that defense, how to run that offense. I think it's just going to be kind of a sloppy game all around. And you know what? I'm going to lean a lot more on the Patriots on this one, winning this one. It's going to be like a 31-28 type game. I think it's just going to be a lot of scoring, a lot of potential that Trevion Henderson is going to have a potential huge game in this one. I'm not sure about Geno Smith yet. I know Brock Bowers is going to have a phenomenal game, I think, in this one too. I think he's going to potentially have a 2-touchdown type game in this one because I think he's one of the guys that you're going to lean on a lot in that offense. Now, we'll see what Ashton Genty could do. I know even some people kept in the chat talking about, oh, you guys remember the 4 rushes, -1 yard, Ashton Genty. We'll see. This one could be an interesting one for Ashton Genty. Is this going to be his coming out party that we know that he's a real guy? that he's a real running back too. So I think it's just going to be a high scoring event all around, but I think the Patriots will find a way to eke this one out.
So I really want to take the Patriots. I really like Mike Vrabel, and I love Travion Henderson. I also, there's just I have that video ingrained in my brain now, seeing those Raiders coaches jousting. So I'm like, has anything really changed over there when they're like jousting during practice? I don't know, stupid stuff. But when I look at the depth chart of the Patriots, their top wide receiver is Stephon Diggs, who is coming off an injury. He's questionable right now. Then you have DeMario Douglas. I think Geno, I don't think that highly of Geno, but he is a solid QB. I think he's gonna eat with Brock Bowers, man. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. And then he has Ashton Genty back there as well. And I think those two guys are just gonna have a field day, because I mean, Drake May, I think he's a solid QB, but he's still like, learning his way and stuff, trying to figure this thing out. This is his first year with an actual, competent OC for the most part, but there is a part. I mean, I do think Josh McDaniels is a great OC as well. So it's going to be close, but Brock Bowers is just such a dog, and I think Geno Smith is just going to feed him. As for their defenses, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about their defenses. I know the Raiders isn't anything special for the most part. It's not really anything special. I mean, besides you had Christian Wilkins doing some sus stuff in the locker room, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Raiders. I'm gonna take the Raiders.
Oh,
I think
there we go.
Yeah,
there we go. See,